Okay, my next book is by the guy that I mentioned earlier. It's Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It looks like this, but I'm pretty sure there's a new copy. It might look different on the cover, but see, same thing. I bought this at a Goodwill. It cost me about $1.99. But if you go on Saturday, it's going to be half price, so it's going to be $1. Anyway, Robert grew up poor. He grew up in Hawaii, born in Hawaii actually. He went to school filled with other students that are rich kid, but because they're rich and he felt like he didn't belong there, so he should not be there. And then he found out was he had a biological dad who finished his PhD, got his master, got his bachelor, did his undergrad in less than 2 years. So his biological dad was pretty smart and bright. Now as time grew, his dad got a bigger and better paycheck, better position. Is that he doesn't have much time, or he didn't have time to spend with his family. And Robert have a friend named Mike, and Mike has a biological dad. And that biological dad of Mike is what Robert referred to his rich dad. Now his rich dad is not rich yet, but he thinks and he talks and walks like a rich person, like a millionaire, basically. And Robert called his biological dad poor dad, so it's poor dad versus the rich dad. So the story goes out like this. Basically, there's two mindsets. One is the poor dad, and then versus the rich dad. So the poor dad would think something like this. Poor dad would say, I will never make it, I will never become a millionaire, and I will never be that type of person in my lifetime. The rich dad said the opposite. He will say something like, I'm a millionaire, so and becoming a millionaire is easy. So making that $1 million is super easy versus somebody who has a poor mindset. Now think about this. If you keep telling yourself, I cannot do it, I cannot make it, I cannot become a millionaire, chances are you will never make it, because if you say it a billion times, a million times, trillion times, whatever, 1,000 times that I can never make it, law of attraction kicks in and you will never make it. A lot of people don't know that. So in order for you to become a millionaire, it's change to how you think. First step is to never say that I can never make it. Just say the opposite. Say, hey, it's easy. All I gotta do is, it's gonna take me time to become a millionaire, but I will do it eventually. Anyway, poor dad would say something like, because of my kids, it's the reason I'm poor. Because all this time I could have take all that money and invest or do something with it to grow my income, but I choose to spend it on my kid. While the rich dad would say the opposite. He would say something like, because of my kid, that's the reason why I got rich. I became a millionaire, a billionaire, because they helped me out, and I teach them how to become rich. Most school nowadays don't even teach you. They'll teach you the basic. Yeah, they teach you all the subject in school, but one thing they lack of is the financial IQ. That is where the rich dad, who's actually a street smart or book smart, versus somebody who is who went to school with a PhD. Now, I don't know if people feel like they have some butthurt, but this is my take on degree. Is that to me it's a waste of time. PhD, yeah, it looks great, it looks nice, it looks good on you. You have the skills, knowledge, and abilities, right? You have all that degree in you, but you still ended up working for somebody else. Now, think about that. Many of us, like 99% of us, go to school, get a job, we ended up working for somebody, the stuff that we don't even own, the company that we don't own, right? So I'd rather be the rich dad. Go to school, go to college, get the skills, knowledge, and abilities. I'll write a business proposal, create jobs, right? Be my own boss, create my own company. Poor dad would say something like, I can never afford this and that. So for instance, iPhone 12 is coming up, 2020, so it's 2020. He said, I can never afford it because it costs too much. And the rich dad would say, the question is, how can I afford it? See, one is a statement, it stopped you right there and then. So if you said, I can never afford iPhone 12, That's it. That's the end. There is no if-else statement. There's no, it doesn't force you to think. So the rich dad statement was like, how can I do it? How can I afford one? Well, it's easy, right? You can buy it with your credit card. You can put on a monthly loan or monthly payment plan with your credit card. Like for instance, I have a USA, a bank with USA, right? If I buy iPhone 12, I don't know how much it'll cost, about let's say $1,000. I can pay my USAA. You can use my credit card and then use and pay the monthly payment plan, which is the minimum. Let's say if it's $1,000, so I have to pay, well, let's see, $50 a month. Yeah, I can do that with my credit bank, with USAA. Or you can have any other bank, like Bank of America. You can do the same thing. Use your credit card and then pay the bare minimum on it, assuming that you only buy iPhone 12 and you don't have any other debts to add to it. Anyway, so the basic of the story is just basically this rich dad versus poor dad. Now, what the poor don't understand is that whenever they get the income, right, which usually from a job, the earned income is usually from a job. As soon as they get the income, the paycheck, the money goes straight out the door through expenses. So they have expenses like utility, water, trash, electricity, what else, cable, internet. And then the middle income, whenever they get their paycheck, the earned income, it goes straight to the liability, which is, what's it, mortgage, credit card, student loan, auto loan, home loans, and so on. And then the rich people would do the opposite. When they get the income, which is the earned income, when they get their paycheck, it goes straight into the asset column. And then the asset column would generate income and go straight back to the income section. And it goes on like, creates a loop, like circle and circle. And that's how they became rich. And that itself just opened my eyeball, like, wow, I didn't know that. Even though I went to school with a bachelor's degree in management information system, I got an associate degree in network administrator, but I'm still useless, I'm still poor. Now, this is different between poor and broke, as pointed out by Robert. So he said, if you are broke, which means it's temporary, I mean, it's easily fixed. And I know somebody who's actually broke, and then that person somehow pick him or herself up. I didn't want to mention any gender, but and then that person actually became rich again. Now, poor is eternal. If you poor, you always be poor. It's eternal. There's no way to fix it. For instance, if you're on welfare, if you're on food stamp, you on any government subsidies, chances are you're never gonna get out of it. So what I saw a lot is that once people get into debt, when they get into poverty, they're pretty much eternal. They can never get out of it. So think of it this way. There's another way to say that. It's this thing called the Law of Expedience. If you encourage to be on welfare, if you give them free food, free money, housing, food stamp, they're not going to get out of it. You only encourage more to get into it. It's called the Law of Expedience. That's what that thing is, just like in physics, right? You have the law of thermodynamic. If you, for instance, if you have a car and you don't fix it, eventually it's going to break down no matter what you do to it. So in economic, we have the same thing. It's called the law of demand and supply. If there's too many demands and not enough supplies, then they jack up the price. If there's too many supplies and then there's not enough demands for it, then the price will go down, right? It has to agree. So, and then he mentioned some other stuff at the very back. And once you finish the book, he has his Monopoly games. He knows how to play Monopolies. He said that using other people's money basically is using good debts to create more income. That's something that I kind of knew, but I'm afraid to do it. So after reading this book, I no longer fear debts. I no longer have the desire of greed. Well, people let two emotions that drive them. One is fear, and the other one is greed. So, for instance, an employee, right? An employee works hard enough so he or she doesn't get fired. And the employer, whichever, the company or any departments, right? They only pay at the minimum so that the employee will never quit. So they pay enough so for you not to quit. And then you is the opposite. You work hard enough not to be fired. So when you are driven by those two emotions, it's what Robert referred to rat race. So you get up every morning, right? So you get up, put on your clothes, shave and shower, and you go to work. And every day you do the same thing. You come back home, sleep. You get up, go to work, pay your bill. Get up, go to work, pay your bill, sleep. And then on and on and on and go 360 a year, right? Through 365. That's what they call a rat race. And I no longer wish to do that. I no longer want to be part of a rat race. I want to be financially independent. I want to create my own business proposal so I can create jobs, so I can own a company, and I can become rich, become a millionaire. So basically, this is what the book is about. So you can pick this up at the library, or you can just, like me, I bought it from Goodwill. It's only $1. There you go.